Hey you guys, if you are new here, welcome to my channel, and if you are not, welcome back. So today I wanted to do a video on what to expect pretty much when you are receiving a shipment for PICC supplies and home IV fluids. So I have two videos up right now. One of them is about the condition I have that prompted me to get this line. It's called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. If I refer to it at any other point from here on out, I'm calling it POTS. That's what everybody says. And then I also have a video on my PICC line and home infusions. Now a PICC line is a semi-permanent IV line. I've had this for 4 months now. So it has basically a catheter that goes into a very large vein in your arm right over here, and it runs up and sits right above your heart. So a normal IV catheter is about this big. This one is, I believe it's about a foot long because it sits right over here. Now just a quick disclaimer, I have had to change my regimen of IV fluids due to something that's going on with my stomach. We're not sure if it's a relapse of my inflammatory bowel disease or if there's something new altogether that's going on. So about 3 months ago, I kind of lost the ability to eat very much. I can have soup. Soup hurts though. I really am having a hard time digesting a lot. I've been in a ton of pain. So when all of this started with my stomach, I actually ended up in the emergency room because we were under the impression I was septic. I wasn't able to walk into the hospital. I had to be carried. My hands were turning like blue because of the lack of oxygen getting to my body. So I was so severely dehydrated. It took 2 or 3 liters of fluids for me to even give a urine sample. So pretty much from that point forward, I requested an increase in the amount of fluids because I just was not able to keep up with dehydration orally. So I'm getting a ton more fluids than a normal POTS patient would, unless that person is unable to drink. I'm getting way more than a normal POTS person. So basically these 2 boxes are just the IV fluids themselves. I think in each box there's like 12-ish, I believe like 12. So these are the bags and they come wrapped in plastic. It's literally the same thing in the rest of this box and in this box, so I'm not going to bore you guys on that. So this is more of the important stuff. This is the PICC supplies and some of the infusion supplies. So one of the most important things to get are these flushes. These are incredibly, incredibly important because your line will completely stop working. Completely and totally. I can't open these, but they will completely stop working. These are used to kind of, well, to flush the line. They're flushes. They're saline flushes. So these are used to keep the line clear of blood or clear of any medication that has been put through the line. And then before and after each infusion, you have to do a flush. So it keeps the IV line functioning. So I got a box of 30 of those. I still have a whole bunch where I keep all of my supplies. Moving on, well, they sent me the wrong. So I'm actually allergic to one of the types of alcohol that they use to clean the arm while doing dressing changes once a week. The form of alcohol is called chlorhexidine or chloroprep. So unfortunately, I'm allergic to those. So they decided to send me 2 of the chloroprep dressing change kits. These go to my nurse every time I see her because I cannot use these. And then these are the ones that I'm not allergic to. So these are PVP instead of the chloroprep. It's basically betadine, which is kind of like that yellow-orange thing that they use to clean off an area before surgery. So each of these things has pretty much everything you need to have the dressing changed. So in this it has a mask, it has sterile gloves, it has like a little piece of like a towel that you can use to like dry off the area after putting the alcohol on. It has tape measure because my arm has to be measured every time I have a dressing change. It has the alcohol, it has the PVP, it has dressings, it has the actual cover itself, has tape, So yeah, that is everything that comes in these. The only difference between these and the other ones is that these are PVP and the other ones are the chloroprep that I'm allergic to. These are steri strips. These are to hold the lumens, or the little kind of ports that kind of come off of the line and stick outside of my body. These are used to hold the lumens down so it doesn't pull the dressing up and kind of rip the dressing. I then have these guys. There's like a gazillion names for these things. Hopefully you guys will be able to see these. I call them claves. I think that's what my nurse calls them. But then these, it says ultrasite, so I don't really know what these are called. I think I just call them claves. So basically these have to be changed every week. One goes on each port of my, my line. And these are used to prevent anything bad pretty much from getting in to the line and to keep it clean, and so I can hook up whatever I need to do, whether that be a flush or an infusion or whatever. So these get changed weekly as well. I then have these stat locks. You're not going to be able to see what they look like, but basically what these are, these like little oval things that actually snap closed around my PICC line. And then there's an adhesive on it that's extremely strong. So basically if I step or do anything on my line where it's gonna get tugged, it prevents it from being pulled out. So these also have to be changed every week. I then have these little guys, which I just found out about recently, actually. These little guys go on the ends of an out of use like tubing, IV tubing, to keep it sterile and clean. So I just recently started getting these. I don't use any of these, so just a little disclaimer. But they keep sending them to me every single week. I do not know why. So they've been sending me, I have no idea why, but they're sending me this Tegaderm which is like the dressing to like hold IV lines down, but this is for like a regular like peripheral IV, like a normal one that if you didn't have a line they'd give you. And I have 2 of them. And I know people do use these for pain patches to keep them on and like a few other things, but I literally have no use for these. But I still get them. So these guys are Aqua Guards or Hydro Seals, and basically I'm not sure what these are made of, but they are, yeah, it doesn't even say what it's made of. But they basically go around whatever line, whether it be a PICC line or a Hickman or a port in somebody's chest. It even says for stomas too, which are holes in the abdomen, dressings, surgical sites, and wounds. Pretty much covers everything. I have a gazillion of these. I don't use them actually. I have a friend that sent me a PICC cover and it works a lot better for me at least, but I know a lot of people really like these. I then have these dressings, which I also don't use. I do not like these dressings, personally at least. They're IV 3000 dressings, and I don't like these at all. When we weren't sure what I was allergic to, I used these and I really don't like them. But they send me these every week as well, even though I don't use them. Also, a lot of this stuff that I don't use, I give to my nurse just in case, you know, she's at a patient's house and they don't have something that she needs. I always give her dressing change kits and all of that fun stuff. It seems like a lot, but I promise it isn't. These guys are IV tubing. That's all these are. This is all IV tubing to cover me for 2 weeks. So yeah, this is like the bulk of everything that's in there. So that tubing gets attached to the IV bags. Because this doesn't come with tubing, you have to attach it. So I take that out, stick it in to this port here, and then prime it and put everything through the pump. They're awesome, and they don't have to do this, but they do it anyway. They actually, because these pumps the batteries have to be changed every day, which is quite annoying. they send batteries, so you don't have to worry about purchasing them, which is awesome. So I have a whole bunch of batteries to last me my 2 weeks. And then these guys sit at the entry site of my PICC line, so where like it goes into my skin, and these kind of absorb whatever stuff kind of comes out of the hole, to kind of keep everything sterile and clean, and lower risk of infection and everything. Surprise, surprise, there's another one of these Tegaderms that I do not use. They did send me medical tape, which isn't anything special, it's just tape. And then lastly, they sent me these guys that kind of go on. I don't understand why they do this, guys. Like, I really don't. I got 28 bags, and they only sent me 8 of these guys, so I don't even use these anymore. These basically go between the tubing of the line and the tubing of the IV bags to kind of prevent backflow, but because they don't send me very much, I don't use them. You don't necessarily need them, but I just stopped using them. And then last but not least, these are actually very important, I have a small handful of these swab caps. I have a ton more though, where I have everything stored. Oh, and I also have a video out on how I store my medical supplies. I'm gonna link all of those. But these basically go on the ends of the lines, so like where this white tip ends, it would go like right here. And it basically bathes the line in alcohol. There's 70% IPA in it, so yeah, basically just kind of keeps it nice and sterile. So yeah, that's pretty much what to expect when you get a shipment for regular saline infusions and PICC supplies. I'm really enjoying doing these more fun videos. Like, don't get me wrong, like I really do like doing, like my POTS video was cool, my infusion and PICC line video was cool, but I've been doing 2 or 3 videos now where they're more of like, I think I'm calling the series like Spoonie Support. I just like to think that by doing these videos, I can help somebody. Like when I first got my shipment, I was like looking at everything like, oh my god, what is all of this stuff? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like I was freaking out because I didn't know what a lot of this stuff was. So I hope that I can provide some sort of help for somebody that is starting with home infusions.